Cougar fans, we're here with University of Sioux Falls head coach Jed Stugart, whose football team is now 2-0 and ranked number 6 by D2Football.com and number 12 by the AFC Coaches Poll, moving up 3 spots in both polls this week. Jed, you come off a win over Minnesota Crookston a week ago, 45-21, and as you said, you didn't play the way your team is capable of playing, but it was a win, and as you said on Saturday, every win is a big win. Talk about that game.
Well, it's a good reminder. I always feel like, you take something out of every game. I think all of our kids and coaches recognize that you got to be mentally ready to go. You can't worry about the circumstances, you can't worry about the field, you can't worry about where you're at in pregame. Does those things make it a tough place to play? Sure, because you're out of your routine a little bit, and you're in a dugout instead of all those things. But when the play starts, it's football, and and so that's kind of what we were disappointed in, is that we are a mature team that we should be able to cast out all those things and go out and play. I was really pleased with Crookston, to be honest with you. I think that's a team that I'm not going to be surprised if they win a handful of games. Be honest with you, they've got a couple good players that we had a hard time with, and that was good for us. What I look at is the fact that you go into halftime, we made the adjustments from a coaching staff standpoint that we came out, and then we're able to, I feel like, shut everything down in the second half and get control of that game. And really, that's what matters. You got to be able to adjust throughout a game. That's what I was pleased at. But you know what, man, you watch the film on Sunday, a lot of great things happened in that game, a lot of great plays. And our thing was just concentration errors that led to a missed tackle or a drop ball and things. And I think a game like that, it can refocus kids up. And so, coaching staff-wise, we learned a lot about the week of prep for a game like that, and something that we'll always keep and learn from.
You opened the season at home, and so it was your first road game, and so you can get a little bit antsy when you get on the road a little bit. But both sides of the ball had big plays. On defense, you had 3 picks after leading the nation for most of the last year. This team's a ball hawking team to be able to create turnovers, and 4 sacks to go along with it. We have a leading 7 sacks right now, and then offensively, you only stopped yourselves a couple times. Right. Otherwise, you rolled up 562 yards. So that side of it looks good, right?
Absolutely. That's why we're not real doom and gloom. I mean, I think talking to some of our fans, I think they're we talk about humility on this team. We talk about brotherhood and family and the way we attack a week. And I think we got a little arrogant last week. I think we just assumed. We listened to a lot of the outside, starting with me at the top, and that's where it starts. Is just assuming you're going to walk in, and so it was a great lesson for us, we didn't mean it to be that way, but I think it kind of came off that way, and that's something that we can zero. Because man, like I said, offensively had some great production. Defensively, had 3 good quarters of defense. We lost a little concentration there a couple times, some missed tackles. But man, we had, we're +4 right now in 2 games in the turnover margin. That's a positive thing.
Exactly.
So we're taking the ball away, and so we like to praise the good things and criticize softly the little things and correct those things, and that's what we did coming out of this game. Is we can't forget the positive things we did in that game.
Coach Fritzy is doing a good job up there. He's
Absolutely.
got some good talent coming in, and Adam Connert's one of them. And they changed quarterbacks. Nathan Cole threw some good passes, and so moving on. I mean, you give them credit as you did last week. They've got some dangerous weapons. Talk about dangerous weapons. I think one of the pretty interesting things with the University of Sioux Falls football program, especially on our offensive side, is their ability to quick strike offense. In the last 14 games, 54 drives of 3 minutes or less. I mean, this year, 12 out of 15 drives have come under 3 minutes. You have this high-speed offense. How would you judge their performance to this point?
Well, I think Dusty and his group of coaches have done awesome. And the reason why is because their attention to detail. A lot of people think you can just just all of a sudden go no huddle and go fast. This has taken a few years to develop, and the work that they've put in, because it's a little bit of an art and a science. There's a method behind why you do it and how you do it, and because there can be some negative aspects to it. So the fact that you know, production, first downs, keeping the ball, you know, those are the things that you must do in a up-tempo, no-huddle offense. But a solid run game is important in a no-huddle. I think a lot of people think no-huddle means all pass. You know, we run the ball probably more than we pass it most time, and you know, you got to have a solid run game, and that's what helps us with that. We want to get more possessions, more opportunities to have our hands on the ball, and so we you know, we'll be in that 90, mid 90 range of plays a game, and that's where we want to be. But man, you got to execute it to make it work, and so he does
Max
a great job.
Max Mickey, 149 yards, career best with a touchdown. Justin Folks for the second straight game went over 50 yards. So you're getting good solid, and Jason Towns comes in. You're getting good solid development. When you talk about balance, you go 282 yards rushing and 280 yards passing. That's about as balanced as you can get.
Absolutely.
On the defensive side, I know we missed some tackles last week, but again, I mean, there was some big plays to be had there, and Solomon St. Pierre will be the first one to tell you he missed on a pick six opportunity down that right sideline. Assess what Tremaine Jackson and his group's doing on defense.
Well, you know, what I love about Tremaine and what they do defensively, it just kind of reminds me of how I was as a D coordinator. You know, you got to have, defense has got to be fun to play. You got to put kids in positions where they're not thinking and they're reacting, and then there's a belief system. And every one of these coaches on that staff, just like offensively, these kids love to go to practice. They love to be coached by our guys. And you know, defensively, we always say around here, you achieve what you emphasize, and you know, we stress the turnovers, taking the ball away. Well, you see that happen in games, and you stress those things. You know, the thing about it is that our team gets very, especially defensively, get very offended at themselves when they give up a touchdown or they give up a big play. You don't have to get down on them, and we don't get down on them. We've got to bring them back up, because they take offense to that, and we tell them all the time they're not going to be a perfect game. So you know, just the way they play, how he's kind of led that unit, and all those guys. You know, we fly around. It's what I love. That's what I like to watch our defense play. Is there's 11 guys at the football all the time. That's stress. That's something that's always highlighted in our practices. And you know, and our kids, we just got great players. But they're great people. You know, they really buy in. That's the thing about this team, is these kids have completely bought into the team concept and family.
Before we quickly go into the game this weekend, and it would be a little bit remiss on my part not to mention the special teams play, especially in week 2, where
Absolutely.
John Tidwell set up 2 scores with punt returns, one of the most dangerous punt returns in the nation. I think you got solid place kicking, and it looked like Eric Inman's group has really done a good job,
Yeah.
right?
You know, Coach Inam is a detail guy. You know, he's you know, first of all, he takes pride in special teams, and you know, I love how he coaches special teams. There's not a lot to it. He's good at the few things and how we do it. We don't get too complex on it. That's kind of our mantra around here, is be good at the little things. And you know, and what he's had to work with, a true freshman kicker who's doing an outstanding job, and Brett Garner. You know, to take you know, a lot of our goals are winning the field position battle, and when we punt, you know, what is that yardage that we're trying to save, or what we want to win that field position battle, and we're hitting our marks on that special teams. You know, we're close to our return yards. I haven't really checked. We don't spend a lot of time on stats, but I want to get a quick glance on where we're at in our return yardage and those things. And I don't know where we rank, but I know that, you know, right now when we are returning kicks, we've played in some win games, but we haven't had a lot of returns in punt or kickoff right now. But when we are, we're getting great field position. We almost returned one last week with the Kyle Groneweg, and so you know, guys are executing blocks and they're doing those things, and real pleased with Coach Inama's special teams unit.
This week, pretty good team coming to town, Minnesota Duluth, perennial power in Division II. They're ranked 7th in both national polls. They come in. Kurt Weezy's group is really talented. They got good players on offense and defense. But you know, this game matches a couple of really good football teams, 2 nationally ranked teams. How are you guys getting ready for this weekend's game?
You know, Dan, to be honest with you, we don't change our routine. You know, I've found that, you know, when all of a sudden you do all these different things, it makes the team kind of wonder why we're doing this. We've just never been that way. You know, we break down film the same, we prepare the same, we'll go out and practice the same. And you're dealing with a team here that is, you know, the experience. They may have the experience on the as far as playoff experience and big game experience. I get that. People have asked me that a lot. But you know, our kids kind of have that, hey, you left us out experience too. You know, that's that little chip on the shoulder of saying, well, nobody gave us a chance to do that last year. And I think that makes for a great, for college football, a great environment. You know, we respect so much what Duluth does and how they do it. You know, tradition. We've compared ourselves a lot of the tradition of Duluth and the tradition of USF as far as championships go, and just a tradition for being hard-nosed. And so you respect teams like that. And you know, I think our kids might have had a little bit to do with last week. I think they're chomping the bit so much to be back home and take on a team like Duluth, mainly to see where we're at. You know, we like all the accolades, and we're appreciative of those things, and because it means our kids are being recognized. But the reality is you know, we haven't beat this team yet, and so it's a big challenge for them, and we get to find out really where we're at.
Well, you talk about success of the programs. USF is 27-8 in NSIC. Minnesota Duluth is right there in terms of winning percentage. I think they're 760 as well. So there is a lot of success that's going to be on the field. And USF's program in the last 20 years, 278 wins since 1978. So it speaks a lot about what you've been able to sustain after Bob Young. I mean, the last 5 years. This will be your 60th game as a Cougar. Any thoughts on that?
You know, it's you're only remembered by your last game. So it's
exactly.
You know, man, I guess that's a praise to God, and just being blessed and to having to be here as long as I've been here, because we love this place, and we love that it's an honor to be a part of what Chuck and Kalen and Bob and these guys have done, that have become great friends of mine, and to continue that tradition rolling. But it's gone fast, I will tell you that. But you know, not a big numbers guy, but man, I guess we were talking today just how fast 60 games has gone here, and so we're blessed to be here.
Well, thanks, Jed. For fans, this weekend the game starts at 6 o'clock at Bob Young Field. It'll match up the University of Sioux Falls coming in at 2-0 and Minnesota Duluth at 1-1. This is Dan Gensler, Sports Information Director at the University of Sioux Falls. Thanks, Jed.
Thanks, Dan.